lady from Pasadena has a pretty little flower bed of white gardenia.
Yeah, but what's she got in the garage? Parked in a rickety old garage is a brand new shiny red Superstock Dodge. Welcome back to Motor Slingers, everybody, right here on
the Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
And we are here with the one and only Leon the Motorman, and George the Airplane Man, and Jimmy the...
Man.
There you go, Jimmy the Man. All right. And me, I'm just the gunslinger guy.
You
That's
are
all.
the gunslinger.
I tell you what. So, you want to get to phone calls? What do you want to do, Leon?
Let's give it a whirl.
All right, let's get to Craig in Anaheim for waiting so patiently. Craig, thanks so much. What can we do for you?
Evening, Craig.
Howdy, you guys. I've called before and talked to Leon and George about the P-51 Mustangs Allison V12 versus the Corsair's Radial, and about the Tucker rear-engine car. So today's another obscure question, and see what your thoughts are on it, Leon. The Ford, little-known car that was built for Can-Am racing is the 494 cubic inch double-head cam that was very short-lived and never really reached full production. What do you think about that engine?
Well, it was a racing engine. First of all, it was strictly built for racing, and a lot of manufacturers were coming out. Honda, Toyota, and all of those were coming out with the racing engines, and they were not designed for the streets. So, I mean, I didn't use a lot of those when I was running around on the streets. But Ford always did a good job with those engines, and Ford, and my hat's off to Ford.
Yeah, I just wondered, was there enough engine blocks built and parts that person could go to a Ford's part counter, buy the stuff, and build the engine and use it?
I doubt it.
If they wanted,
I doubt it. That was strictly a performance-minded engine that strictly used for racing. I wanted to buy one racing. Penske and those guys, the big guys, would be buying those. I doubt.
Oh yeah.
I doubt
very,
if you could.
Very unique set of valve covers on those.
Oh yeah, good-looking valve covers. That engine probably only cost about $100,000.
Oh.
Well,
and like a Hemi's $25,000. That would be 4 times the cost of building a Hemi.
Take it from somebody who's building a Ford Mustang 390 right now. You know, you can go anywhere. Bob's drive-in movies, donuts, ice cream, and Chevy parts. I mean, you can get a 350 anywhere. You can't find Ford parts anywhere. Just regular parts are almost impossible. At the Pomona show, we walked 6.5 miles, Kathy and I, every single aisle. And you know how many Ford parts I found? I think 2.
Yeah, Ford's not a popular engine. Once the Chevy small block came in 1955, that changed the whole industry with that, because the small block, cubic inch per horsepower. The only engine, same cubic inch and same horsepower.
Yeah.
283 horsepower.
That's it.
And it was compact.
With fuel injection and solid lifters.
Right, but Ford engines had bigger engines, and they were hard to put in to smaller chassis vehicles, and that's the reason. Now, Ford did, back in the 60s, made some real nice 61, 62, some really fast Fords, some 406. They had some 406 engines, and they were pretty fast cars.
Good luck.
Yeah, I've always read that the 406s were built for trucks.
No, they built them. I worked on them all. When I worked for Ford, I worked on almost all the performance cars. The 206, the 406s were very popular, solid lifters, and they ran pretty good. But they were in the sedans, so they was in a big car.
Yeah. Well, this engine I was talking about, it's kind of obscure and not many people know about it, but I figured you've dabbled enough in all the engines, you'd know somewhat about it.
Well, it's a racing engine. It just sold just for racing purposes with a fancy valve cover.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks for the call, Craig.
Thank you.
Well, can you get any cooler looking than the 409 with that kind of upside down W? The 409 valve cover is so cool.
Oh, Chevys?
Yeah.
409. when they first came out, I thought, boy, I'd gone to heaven looking at one of those engines, 2 4-barrels on there, and sort of a polished valve cover, the flags on it. It was awesome.
Very, very cool.
I know we have a bunch of calls online, but I mean on the phones. But quick question from Bobby T. Dot over on Rumble. Your thoughts on the Ford Maverick?
Ford Maverick?
Yes, sir.
What about it?
Just what are your thoughts? He just wants to think what he thinks about the new.
Oh, the new one,
the new Ford Maverick. I should.
Well, Ford's building some good cars. They're nice cars. A Bronco now. I mean, Ford's coming out with some good vehicles. But I'll tell you the problem with the auto industry. There's too many manufacturers out there right now. There's so many manufacturers out there. It's just you just don't need them. All the electric manufacturers. I can't even pronounce or even some of the names on some of these cars. And you don't even know Lucid, and it's just, and all of them are having a hard time just staying in business. There's way too many car manufacturers out there right now. You don't need that many out there. That's my opinion. So I may bend some noses, but it's way too many. Way. I talked to a representative from Ford the other day, and he agreed with me. There's way too many manufacturers out there. We don't need all of those cars out there.
Well, I agree. I agree. I mean, other than Dodge Ram, I can't think of any of them, though. I got to have my truck. And you know what they did, Dodge? They went to a straight 6 with a dual turbo on it.
Twin turbo.
Yeah, twin turbo. And it's supposed to be more powerful than their V8.
Well, I don't doubt it, because even the 4-cylinder, some of these cars now are faster than the V8. They're coming out in the new cars compared to years ago. You're talking about your 390 engine. There's some of these little 4-cylinder blow the doors off of that Mustang. I'm sorry to tell you.
I know. You know me, Leon. I like looking good getting there. I don't care about going fast anymore.
Oh, you got to go fast.
I got to go fast.
I know.
You don't need to go fast, but you got to have that feeling underneath your foot.
Fast-ish.
Yeah. You got to have that throttle that knows it's there when you want it.
Yeah, I agree. And I was not going to get one this year because my truck now is a V8, and I was reading this morning, and they're saying that this straight 6 with the twin turbo is 480 horse.
Well, they're doing it for mission controls and things of this nature.
Yeah.
And so it is. And usually the twin turbo is a low performance turbo and a high speed. So it takes over. You don't have that turbo lag anymore.
Okay.
So the little turbo takes over, and then the big one comes in.
Well, but with a straight 6, I don't pull horse trailers anymore, and I don't really do. I have my boat's parked up at Big Bear. I don't have to pull that thing around. But I take cars all over the place. I've got a big Tex car trailer and with a car on it, and that's why I was like, is that going to be enough?
Well, they're pretty good. Ford doing that with even some of their 4-cylinder engines in there with the twin turbos on it. So it's just amazing what has happened over the years. Back in the 60s, a 4-cylinder engine would shake your teeth. The car would shake so bad.
Had one or two of those.
When Tempest came out with that, it was a half of a V8, which was sort of a joke, But now look what they've done with the 4-cylinder. They're smooth. They idle smooth. Usually 6-cylinders were rough. Now they're nice and smooth. They get a lot of power out of 6-cylinder. The manufacturers have come a long way with the engines. That's why a lot of the speed shops are done. Edelbrock. What do you buy performance-wise now when you can go buy any car that is a fast car?
Yeah.
You don't need to put multiple carburetors on it, cylinder heads, all the things that I did all these years, stroker kits and all that. It's just now you go down walking a Tesla, 0 to 60, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
The technology's pushed it all the way to where you want it to be.
That's what Hannity says now, 0 to 60 in 2 seconds.
Wow. That's cooking.
You can buy a lot of Tesla cars down there, little destroyed, but I mean,
yeah, apparently they're popping up all over the place.
Yeah.
Just a little fire damage here and there.
You gotta buff them out. You can buff that out.
It's a shame. It's so sad.
Let's get to Gary in Nevada. Gary, thanks for waiting. What can we do for you?
Hello, sir. How are you guys doing?
Well, doing well. What's going on?
Awesome. I have a Winchester Model 94 XTR big bore, chambered in 375 Winchester.
I know the gun.
Do you? This thing has the best looking stock, incredible looking stock I've ever seen on any Winchester.
They come with very pretty wood. Yeah.
Hey, what do you guys think of this caliber?
I think it's kind of like shooting a cannon out of a squirt gun. You have a very small gun and you have a very large bullet.
Yeah.
And I, in my old age, I'm getting very recoil sensitive. So I would probably watch you shoot it.
Yeah, just to propel that projectile out of there.
But I would stand about 8 feet behind you and maybe off to the right a little bit and
Catcher's gear on.
Yeah,
Just in case.
because it is a great gun, and if you're stout enough that you will be happy shooting that, good on you. Just not my a 30-30 for me these days is almost getting to be too much. So the 375 Win, it's a pretty stout round. And that's a very small gun to be shooting it out of, and you don't have a whole lot on the back of the butt.
Nope.
It's only about 3.5 inches tall and maybe an inch wide, and so you don't have a lot of surface on your shoulder, so you're going to take a beating.
Yep.
But other than that,
it kicks like a mule, but not the stoutest mule I've ever been kicked.
well, understood.
Yeah.
It is not a bazooka, but it does.
No.
It does. And I can tell you one thing: I have probably sold 50 of the big boys, or what's it's a XTR. What's it called again? The big
bore.
Yeah, the big bore. I have probably sold 50 of those in the last 10 years, and I can absolutely guarantee you that at least 2 of them had been fired. So if that tells you anything about the gun.
This one's probably had about 4 rounds run through it.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right.
I've got a question. There's a small screw on the left-hand side of the receiver that goes through the receiver to the bolt area. What's the adjustment on that? It doesn't bottom out. It would stop the bolt.
If I recall, here's the thing about Winchesters, starting with the model 92 and then the 94. Opening one of those up is kind of like trying to play with a Chinese puzzle. They are very difficult, and if it's the screw I'm thinking of, all that does is kind of holds the bolt into place. Or maybe it holds part of the toggle in place. I can't remember, the lever action part of it. I am not a gunsmith per se. I have worked on a few, but I think all that just needs to be just tight. It doesn't need to be, torqued down or anything. Alrighty?
Yeah, I don't keep it down. It just...
Yeah. Yeah, if I recall, that fits into a slot into the lever action itself, and it just holds it into place. All right.
Okay. And is there anything way to put night sights on it? Because out where I live, in the middle of nowhere, we got a lot of coyotes, badgers, occasional mountain lion.
Understood. Somebody somewhere, I'm sure, makes some kind of, look up Trigicon or go to Brownells. It's Brown, ELLS.com. If anybody's going to have it, it'll be them.
Yeah, they got it.
All righty.
Okay. Yeah, I've got their catalog. I just wonder if you guys knew something that would fit on it.
I tried them. And if you can't find it in the catalog, give them a call. I'm sure somebody will help you. All righty.
All right, great. Thank you, guys. You have a great day.
Thank you, sir. Take care now. Okay, that opens up some lines at, which one do you want it?
Well, it's easy. An easy number to remember. All you got to do is write this number down, 866-870-5752. And we're waiting for your call.
Give us a call. We got Sean in L.A. wants to talk about electric planes. Greg in L.A. wants to talk about a Cougar.
Ooh.
I'm hoping he's talking about a Merc. You're listening to the Motorslinger Show right here on
the Gunslinger Syndicated Radio Network.
And we'll be right back.
It's all right.